So what I want to talk a little bit about Skyrim because I feel a lot of people don't actually understood what this game is actually about. Because let's start with the whole graphics stuff. This game, first of all, it's not about graphics. This is an RPG. I never expected to have like the most perfect graphics of all time because when you have like a shooter, like a Doom shooter or something like that, you can you can have a lot of like triple A and best graphics you could have possibly have, but when you have an RPG, there's so many elements more than to the shooting gameplay, the base gameplay, that gonna make the game so much heavier. You just can't have if you want to put like the best graphics of all time in an RPG, like you need like a PC with like a three video cards or something to run the game. So nobody would be able to play it. So what's the point, right? So when you have an RPG, you can never have like the best graphics like you have in a simple shooter, because the game is just heavier. You just can't. And people are saying like it's gonna be like a No Man's Sky clone or something like that. And that's not actually the case, because No Man's Sky is not an RPG. No Man's Sky is like a space Minecraft or something like that. It's a game about building and exploration, but it's not actually an RPG. And what I mean by an RPG is that you are role playing. You're actually like yeah, you can build your character and stuff like that, but you can you cannot actually be something in the game because you don't feel like you're something in the game. Like in this game, you can be like a pirate or a smuggler. You can like trade stuff, and you're gonna real feel like you're a pirate or a smuggler because you're gonna choose your traits, and people are gonna react. The characters in the game are gonna react to you according to what you chose, and you're gonna be able to pick different dialogues and stuff like that because that's what Bethesda does with their games. So it's gonna be so much deeper than just a No Man's Sky, because it's not about just the exploration or the building. It's about character interaction, and you're gonna be able to actually achieve the same goal through different ways, right? Of course, you can just shoot your way to anything, like explode stuff, and you can play like that. But you can actually be a diplomat and achieve the same outcome through being a pacifist, for example, without having to shoot everybody. Or you can actually be a kind of a thief, because they said that, for example, you get into a gun store, right? So you're gonna see how you're not gonna just talk to a character and go inside a menu with guns. Then that's not like what they're aiming for. You're actually gonna see the guns on the shelves, and you can just grab the gun and start running if you want to. So, or if you like, you probably be able to get some sort of skill where you are able to steal, because we already have that in the old Bethesda games. They're actually be able to steal without the guy that's selling to you notice. So you're gonna have a lot of. They want to make something that is doesn't actually feel like a video game. It just feels like more of a real life, in the sense that you have the freedom to do a lot of stuff that you would actually be able to do in real life. So this game is gonna be so massive, so much deeper than just the No Man's Sky clone. Because if you think this game is not gonna be anything like No Man's Sky, this game is not copying No Man's Sky. People say, "Oh, it's just the so alike," right? But if you look at Mass Effect Andromeda and a game like Starlink, you're gonna see that they are so much alike No Man's Sky, because they're space games, right? There's nothing much more to do. It's like comparing Skyrim to I don't know some kind of Lord of the Rings game. they're gonna be like the same thing, you know. They're not gonna be that much different when you look at them, but the actual gameplay is gonna be so much more deep on the on Starlink than these other games because of these RPG elements. Another point is the combat, right? So people are saying that the combat doesn't look very dynamic. It just doesn't look very. It just looks a lot generic, very generic and stuff like that. But they haven't showed a lot of this. This is the first time they showed this game ever. So, and what they showed it to us, it was like a level 1 character, you know, a level 1 combat character, and this game is an RPG. It's not like a shooter game when they show like a bunch of stuff that you can actually do, because depending on what type of character you choose, your character is gonna behave in a different way. So you can have like a character with a lot of combat skills and a lot of movement skills and maybe a lot of equipment to help your movement. So your combat would actually feel different from a guy that doesn't have these skills and this kind of equipment. So that's the whole thing. And what they showed it to us, it was like the base game, right? But they actually said that the planets will have different gravities. So the movement on each planet would actually feel different. So the first gameplay was in a moon, like a Crete, if I'm not mistaken. So this moon has like a, not like a Earth gravity, right? It feels a little bit like you're underwater, like you're like having a underwater combat or something like that. So it doesn't. That's what I think the people were feeling when they were talking about the gameplay, because it felt kind of slow, you know, and janky and stuff like that. But what I really think is that it felt like that because you're actually in a moon that has the gravity of a moon that is not as heavy as Earth. So in a planet that have a heavier gravity, you're probably gonna be feel a lot different, a lot heavier than what you felt there. And if you got a jetpack or something like that, you're gonna feel so much more different from just the gravity, you know. And with the combat skills and stuff like that, and other kinds of equipment, I don't know, boots or something like that, it probably will affect the way that you actually move. I expect something like that, because I mean it's an RPG, and that's what an RPG is about. So I'm actually really hopeful for Starlink. I think it's gonna be a great game. Like you can actually like enter other people's spaceships and like you're a pirate, and to kill them or grab their stuff or something like that. So it's gonna be really, the gameplay is gonna be really deep. I don't expect anything less than that. And people are talking about, oh, it's gonna have 1,000 worlds, like they're all procedurally generated, it's gonna be all like a big wasteland. Actually that's not the case, because they said that this game will have more handcrafted content than any Bethesda game ever had. And besides the handcrafted content with the storyline and the main quest, you're gonna have 1,000 worlds to explore that doesn't have the same amount of attention, but this game is a new game. They have like the AI, it just gets better and better. Like I don't know if you guys seen this, but AIs nowadays they can get a painting, like a classical painting, like a Mona Lisa, and the AI can actually create the rest of the whole painting, like with a full body Mona Lisa with and can actually create a whole lot the rest of the scenery behind her, you know. So the AI is just getting nuts, man, you know. So I expect the AI they actually gonna use in this game is not gonna feel like a wasteland. And they probably won't let the AI do all the stuff, you know. Another thing that I'm expecting this game to have is a lot of updates, right? So they're gonna have the base game with all this all this thousand planets and open world ready to explore, and so they can add so much stuff into this base game, like new quests, new storylines. The mod community can do so much more to the base game, so I'm expecting this game to like last at least around 10 years or something, because the game is just has so much potential for new content, and I think it's gonna be so much better than people actually giving credit for. Yeah, okay, the gameplay didn't look that good, like the graphics and the frame rate, it was a little janky, but I don't know, it's just the game isn't even out yet, you know. They just showed like a gameplay that is actually real. They're not lying to us like what they did with Cyberpunk, for example, or even No Man's Sky, for let's say. They're actually like saying something, uh, giving an idea that is not actually real, you know. And this is Bethesda. They already done stuff like that, you know. They already use a lot of procedure generated content in their games, and it doesn't feel like a wasteland, you know. So I'm actually very hopeful for what this game can actually become. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. And say what you guys think about it. If you guys think I'm just talking a bunch of nonsense, or if you guys think that actually makes some sense. If you like or dislike, just leave your comment, follow, and all the garbage, you know.